When I found out about initially getting trained, it was a commercial that they had on TV during an episode of WWE Jacked at the time. That was like, their A show.
WWE
Yeah,
Jacked.
like Raw is like their A show, SmackDown's the B show. Jacked was like the F show.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you had to
Way
really,
below-
really,
way below
yeah,
Sunday Night Heat.
Yeah, you had to really love wrestling to watch that. So, but yeah, like I found out about it then, and then since then, I'm a military brat growing up. Like my mother and my father were both military, so one of the things that I also enjoy about it is the travel, and I also was a theater kid, no shocker, growing up. So it put together like the athleticism and the theater and the travel all together. So, and like I mentioned, since doing it, it's opened up a lot of different things, like between just traveling all over America. This is my 4th tour over here now, so
I'm not sure a 6-month stay counts as a tour. You live here. You're one of us now.
also, yeah,
sort of kind of near-British.
yeah, not British enough. I don't have an NHS
DQ,
number or
don't go.
anything.
Don't leave me.
Okay, talk to customs.
Okay.
They always give me 6 months at a time. But here, I did some time in Japan as well too. Also did some time in Canada. There's all sorts of avenues for this, and what I love about it as an art form is it's universal. You don't have to speak the same language. People just get it. Like good wrestling is good wrestling, entertainment is entertainment. So here we are. Yeah.
Amazing. Last thing, to any of those people out there, who have these negative stereotypes about wrestling and sort of, I don't know, attack people who watch it because and they've never seen it themselves. What would you say to those sort of people? Like, what would be your reaction to them?
I feel sorry for them, really, because I feel like they're missing out on a lot. It's wrestling's a strange art form in the sense that like it has no race, creed, color, religion, anything to that effect. So it just kind of brings everybody together. Like for example, name drop Darius Lockhart. That's one of the few situations I've ever seen where a wrestler who's been charged with he pretty much is a believer in Black Lives Matter and other things like that. So in the heart of North Carolina, in front of 800 people, this is a 23-year-old black man who is in the middle of a crowd with his fist raised, saying, "Be a revolutionary," with Black Lives Matter clearly on his tights. And you've got Latino, you've got white, you've got black, you've got Asian, all raising their fist in solidarity with him out of love, out of understanding. And you could barely get that in like many art forms. You got movies now that still get weird and dance around the issue. And sometimes when wrestling is good, when it's at its best, that's the kind of stuff that you can see. I'm a country boy from Georgia who is here in the UK, who's been embraced by like the city of Leeds to represent them in a match that they're having in London this Sunday, just because they accepted me and they took me in. And you get all sorts of strange, cool things like that happen because the universal language is just wrestling. And I wish it was like that in other things, say like politics, where it's supposed to work.
Don't talk about politics.
We're not going to do that.
No. For me, I just feel that anyone who won't try something because of stigma, you are probably missing out. It's not exclusive to wrestling at all. I'm very much an advocate of give anything a go once, except possibly Morris dancing, because I don't think I'd be any good at that. But I do think, where does the stigma come from? Why do they care? I've never cared whether this guy likes cycling or that girl likes fishing. So why do people care that we like wrestling? It makes no sense to me. And give it a go. Come and see a show if you like it. Come to another one. If you don't. It's the same as anything, really. And friends of mine that have come to the show just because I'm on it, most of the time they'll say, well, that was fun and I liked your bit, but I won't be coming again. But they still had a nice time, you know? And one thing I want to say is, you were touching on it with the black thing, the gay thing, black guy and a gay guy. But
We can work together all
I
the
know.
time. Yeah.
And I was really shy about going to wrestling training, and school was launched where I live in Manchester, and I didn't go. I didn't go because I was scared that people might not like me, might not be comfortable learning to wrestle with a gay guy. And I should have done, because I was about 30 then. Maybe, no, about 20, 27 maybe. So I was about the right age to start learning. And I finally went to a training school when I was about 34, 35, and it was too late because I put it off because I was scared. And it turns out that I was a fucking idiot. I should have gone in the first place, and I could have been a wrestler rather than a commentator. And I genuinely have never seen any problem backstage or with any of the fans. I'm pretty open about it with everybody, and nobody gives a shit.
I just think it's amazing how like this one piece of entertainment that gets lambasted is probably one of the fakest. Like they say it's one of the fakest things in the world, but it has some of the realest souls you probably would ever want to be involved in. And then the people who love it, to the audiences, to those performing, like there's something very base and real at the core of it. And once you've had a chance to experience that, whether it's on this side or sitting there, it's nothing like it. No. You'll be hooked. There's no turning away from it.
Up until recently, I mean, I know you're a full-time wrestler, but up until recently, there weren't that many people in a locker room that were full-time. So you take a look around the locker room and there'd be a firefighter, there'd be a police officer, there'd be a librarian, there'd be all kind of walks, like a guy who just works in an office, guy who unemployed. You can't predict who's going to like wrestling, but we're all close because we've got that and because it has been stigmatized in the past, and we all completely different, diverse people. But wrestling, there's something about it that brings us all together and makes us closer and makes... You can walk into a locker room and know that everybody's going to be all right because they're into wrestling.